Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of History of Terms and Phrases, a series that goes through wacky and nonsensical terms and phrases throughout time. And in today's episode, we're going to discuss the term I call shotgun. I think everyone should know what this term means. You've seen it in a bunch of movies and TV shows all the time. But for those who could possibly not know what this means, because my motto is have an open mind, because there's always a chance. I call shotgun means claiming the front seat of a car when you're about to go driving somewhere, and this is one of those terms that I've looked at ahead of time for this show when it really first started, and it's one I've been really befuddled by it, because how can the front seat of a shotgun correlate? How can a front seat of a car correlate to a shotgun? But through my research, it actually has a very fascinating origin story dating back to the Wild West era of America. According to Wikipedia, the term was originally called riding shotgun, and quote, was a phrase used to describe the bodyguard called shotgun messengers who rides along the stagecoach driver, typically armed with a break-action shotgun called a coach gun at the time. Now, to get this out of the way, a stagecoach is basically a horse carriage, but only for public use, because actual horse carriages were used for rich people private endeavors. But besides that, the main reason why the stagecoach driver would need protection is because, quote, from Wikipedia, to ward off bandits and hostile Native Americans, end quote. So originally, these shotgun messengers were express messengers from the company Wells Fargo, and for a short history on the banking company Wells Fargo, they were founded in 1852 to provide banking services to California during the growing gold rush at the time. By the end of the gold rush, Wells Fargo was the dominant banking service in California, and it eventually became bigger and bigger with merging deals all around the country and became a national banking presence. And from a quote from Wikipedia again, when Wells Fargo and Co. began regular stagecoach service from Tipton, Missouri to San Francisco, California in 1858, they issued shotguns to its drivers and guards for defense along the perilous 2,800-mile route. So I think that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin for this term, but that would make this episode really short, and I added some two little tidbits to it, because this one is particularly special because for the first time in this show, we actually have a historical example. The Wikipedia article talks about our main character. His name is Bob Paul, who was a candidate for town sheriff, but he lost. And him being stagecoach because the famous stagecoach driver in town, Eli Philpott, was ill. And it's a story, basically, I'm gonna give you a quick summary. It tells the story of him and Philpott just fighting cowboys trying to rob the stagecoach. But now, back to the history of the term. The term was first written and coined in the 1905 novel, The Sunset Trail by Alfred Henry Lewis. Quote from the book, Wyatt and Morgan Arp were in the service of the Express Company. They went often as guards, riding shotgun, it was called, when the stage bore unusual trevor, end quote. So I think that about concludes this episode of History of Terms and Phrases. If you have another weird and wacky and nonsensical term that you would like me to cover, I would say please leave it in the comments, because I'm having kind of a hard time finding them, and I always appreciate the help. So with that, thank you for watching.